Cold air is locked across the eastern United States. That's not speculation. That's reality. And what happens over the next 10 to 14 days depends entirely on how moisture interacts with that cold air mass. 3 separate shots of Arctic air are lined up. The first arrives Thursday. The second hits this weekend. The third pushes in late next week. Each one progressively colder than the last. Each one creating opportunities for winter weather. Let me start with what is happening right now. Warm air still dominates the Gulf Coast. Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, seeing temperatures in the 60s and 70s. That one to last. By Thursday morning, those same areas drop into the 30s. By Friday morning, some locations hit the teens. That's a 40 to 50 degree temperature swing in 36 hours. Your body notices that. Your sinuses notice that. People with migraines, joint pain, respiratory issues, you're going to feel this transition. It's not just about snow, it's about dramatic atmospheric change. Upper Midwest, you're already cold. Dakotas, Minnesota, northern Wisconsin seeing single digits this morning. That's normal for January. What is different is how far south this cold extends. By Friday, Atlanta sees morning lows in the teens. Birmingham hits 15 degrees. Jackson, Mississippi drops to 18. When was the last time you saw that? Some of you remember, but for many it has been years. Now let's discuss the atmospheric setup. At 500 millibars, we have a deep trough digging from Hudson Bay through the Ohio Valley. That's the steering mechanism. Everything else follows from that. West of the trough, we have strong ridging. Pacific Northwest, Northern Rockies running 15 to 20 degrees above normal. That ridge isn't going anywhere. It's blocking pattern. When you have blocking to the west, troughs to the east dig deeper and stay longer. The European ensemble shows this pattern persisting through the end of January. 70% of members maintain below normal temperatures across the east. 60% show it extending into early February. That's unusual. Typically, these patterns break down after 7 to 10 days. This one has staying power. Why does that matter? Because each piece of energy that rotates through that trough has winter weather potential. Even if individual systems pan out, the pattern creates multiple chances. And in weather forecasting, more chances mean higher probability of impact. Wednesday afternoon, the first system arrives. This isn't to the main event. This is the setup. Rain across the southeast, snow developing in the Appalachians. Nothing impressive for the coastal plain, but mountains from northern Georgia through Virginia see accumulating snow. Elevations above 3,000 feet could see 6 to 12 inches by Thursday evening. Ski resorts are going to be happy. Those of you who live in mountain communities know what that means. Prepare accordingly. I want to talk about something I've been seeing in data. The thermal profile. That's the temperature structure of the atmosphere from surface to 30,000 feet. Right now, Wednesday morning, we still have warm air aloft across much of the south. By Thursday morning, that warm air is gone, replaced by sub-freezing temperatures through the entire column. What does that mean? It means any precipitation that falls comes down as snow or sleet. No more warm layer aloft to melt it into rain. This is significant for areas from Tennessee through the Carolinas. You transition from rain possible to snow likely just by waiting 24 hours. Thursday, the cold settles in. This is when you feel it. Morning lows in the teens across the Mid-South. Single digits possible in the Appalachians. Wind chill values drop below 0 in some locations. This is dangerous cold for areas not accustomed to it. Pets need to be inside. Livestock need adequate shelter. Pipes need protection. This isn't a time to test your luck. Take the cold seriously. Friday brings the first reinforcing shot. A clipper system races across the Great Lakes. Light to moderate snow spreads from Michigan through Pennsylvania. This is quick moving, in and out in 12 hours. But it drops 1 to 3 inches for most areas. Some locations see 4 inches, and it drives temperatures even lower. Behind that clipper, Arctic air floods south. Saturday morning, Memphis wakes up to 12 degrees. Nashville sees 10. Chattanooga hits 8. These are the coldest temperatures of the winter so far for many locations. And here's where it gets interesting. While we sitting in that cold air Saturday morning, another piece of energy approaches from the west. This one tracks across the southern plains Friday night. By Saturday afternoon, it's over Arkansas and Louisiana. Does it have moisture? Yes. Is there cold air in place? Yes. Do they connect? That is the question. Current model data is split. The European model says no. keeps the moisture too far south. The energy passes through without significant precipitation. The GFS says maybe, shows light snow developing across northern Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee. The Canadian model shows something in between. What's my read? I think Saturday has potential, not certainty. Potential. The cold air is definitely in place. The energy is definitely there. Whether they phase together depends on exact timing and track. Small differences matter. For those in northern Alabama, middle Tennessee, northern Mississippi, this is worth watching. You could wake up Sunday morning to snow on the ground. You could also wake up to nothing but cold. That is the honest assessment. Sunday into Monday, additional energy rotates through. This is weaker. But when you have temperatures in the low 20s and even weak lift, you can generate flurries. Much of Kentucky, Tennessee, the Virginias could see flurries or light snow Sunday, nothing accumulating significantly, but wintry conditions. Then we get to late next week, and this is where ensemble data becomes interesting. The operational models, the single high-resolution runs, show various solutions, but the ensemble mean, the average of 51 different forecasts, consistently shows a significant winter weather threat for the southeast. What day? Somewhere between January 22nd and 25th. What type? Too early to say. Could be snow, could be ice, could be both. What locations? That is evolving. But the pattern supports something meaningful. I am not hyping this. I am reading data. The MJO, the Madden-Julian Oscillation, moves into Phase 8 by January 20th. Phase 8 in late January historically favors winter weather across the south and east. Combined with the trough position, combined with persistent cold, the ingredients align. Does that guarantee a major winter storm? No. Does it increase probability? Yes. Now let me address ice. This is the scenario that concerns me most. Not for this week, but for next week into the following week. When you have deep cold locked in at the surface and systems approaching from the southwest, you create classic ice setups. Warm air overruns cold air at the surface. Precipitation melts as it falls through the warm layer, refreezes when it hits the cold surface layer. That's freezing rain. And freezing rain causes more problems than snow. Trees down, power lines down, roads impassable, not just difficult, impassable. You can drive on a quarter-inch of ice. You can barely walk on it. Who is at risk? Tennessee Valley through the Carolinas. This is the zone where ice storms develop. Not saying it happens, saying the pattern supports it. Be aware. Let me shift to practical matters. If you in an area expecting cold, check your heating system now. Make sure it's working properly. If you have a heat pump, understand they lose efficiency below 30 degrees. Have backup heat available. Space heaters are common this time of year. If you use one, follow basic safety. Keep it 3 feet from anything flammable. Don T-run extension cords. Plug directly into wall outlets. Don T, leave it unattended. Carbon monoxide poisoning kills people every winter. If you use any combustion heat source, generator, propane heater, anything that burns fuel, you need carbon monoxide detectors, and you need them working. Test them. Replace batteries if needed. For those with fireplaces or wood stoves, make sure your chimney is clean. Creosote buildup causes fires. If you haven't had it cleaned recently, now's not the time to use it heavily. Water is another concern. Pipes freeze when temperatures stay below freezing for extended periods. We re-looking at 3 to 4 days below freezing across much of the south. That's long enough for pipe issues. Let water drip from faucets. Moving water freezes less readily than standing water. Open cabinet doors under sinks. Let warm air circulate around pipes. Disconnect outdoor hoses. Drain outdoor faucets if possible. Mobile homes are particularly vulnerable. If you live in a mobile home, take extra precautions. Insulate exposed pipes. Use heat tape if available. Check skirting for gaps where cold air enters. For those asking about travel, conditions will be challenging. Wednesday and Thursday, mountain roads become hazardous. Interstate 40 through the Smokies, Interstate 26 through North Carolina. These routes see snow and ice. Friday and Saturday, cold is the main issue. Bridges and overpasses freeze even when road surfaces don black ice forms. You can see it. You don't know it's there until you hit it. If you must travel, allow extra time. Pack emergency supplies, blankets, food, water, flashlight, phone charger. If you go in the ditch in rural areas when it's 15 degrees outside, help might not arrive for hours. Be prepared to wait. Let me talk about what I am seeing from different regions. Starting with New England, you're looking at multiple light to moderate snow events. Nothing blockbuster, but consistent. The pattern favors clipper after clipper. By the end of January, seasonal snowfall totals will be near or above normal for most locations. Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, you are in good shape. Snow continues. Cold continues. This is your winter. Mid-Atlantic, you are in the difficult zone. As always, the I-95 corridor from Richmond through Philadelphia becomes a battleground. Rain to the east, snow to the west. Where that line sets up determines everything. Small shifts in storm track create big differences in impact. Baltimore could see 6 inches while Washington sees rain, or vice versa. 30 miles separates those cities, but they often see completely different weather. My advice for the Mid-Atlantic is don't to get locked into specific outcomes days in advance. Watch trends. If multiple models consistently shift north, that tells you something. If they shift south, that tells you something different. But individual runs 6 days out don't mean much. Ohio Valley and Great Lakes, you are positioned well for this pattern. Multiple systems, consistent snow, lake effect adds to system snow. Cleveland, Buffalo, Erie, you know the drill. This is normal winter for you. Midwest from Iowa through Illinois and Indiana, you are looking at the southern edge of most systems. That's frustrating. You get cold without the payoff of snow, but the pattern this year favors slightly farther south tracks. That might bring more action your way. Deep south, this is where the most uncertainty exists. And the most interest. Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, the northern portions of these states could see wintry precipitation. Could, not will. Could, the setup exists. Cold air locks in. Energy approaches. They just need to time correctly. And that is difficult to forecast beyond 3 days. For those in Jackson, Mississippi, I know you haven't seen significant snow in years. This pattern gives you a chance. Monitor updates. Don't assume it happens, but don't dismiss it either. Alabama, similar situation. Huntsville and areas north of Birmingham are cold enough. If moisture arrives at the right time, you see winter weather. Timing is everything. Tennessee, the western half, has been frustrated. Memphis, Nashville areas seeing cold but not much else. This weekend into next week offers hope, not guarantees. Hope. Eastern Tennessee, you better positioned. Knoxville through the Tri-Cities region sits in a favorable spot. Cold air pools in the valleys. Even weak systems produce wintry weather. The Carolinas present interesting scenarios. Western North Carolina in the mountains, you reset. Snow continues. Multiple events. Accumulation builds. Piedmont region from Charlotte through Greensboro, you on the edge. Close enough for snow chances, warm enough that it's never certain. This is classic Carolinas winter weather. Frustrating, but that is the reality. Coastal areas stay too warm for most events. Wilmington, Charleston, these areas see cold but not snow, unless something tracks perfectly, which is rare. Georgia follows similar patterns. North Georgia mountains see accumulation. Atlanta and areas north of the city have chances. South of Atlanta, unlikely unless something exceptional develops. Florida, you are concerned about cold, not snow. And this cold matters. Citrus country, you are looking at potential freeze conditions. Hard freeze possible some mornings. That impacts crops. That impacts landscaping. Protect what needs protecting. Now let me address model consistency, or lack thereof. Models have been inconsistent this winter, more so than normal. Systems that look significant 5 days out disappear 2 days out, or vice versa. Systems that look minor suddenly develop. Why? Partly La Niña, partly the overall pattern. When you have strong blocking and deep troughing, small changes in position create large changes in outcome. Models struggle with that. My approach is focus on trends rather than individual runs. If 6 consecutive runs show southward trend, that's meaningful. If 6 consecutive runs show northward trend, that's meaningful. If every run shows something different, that means low confidence. This past 24 hours, we've seen southward trends with weekend energy. That's encouraging for those wanting winter weather in the south, but it is not conclusive. We need to see if that trend continues. Ensemble data provides another tool. Instead of one forecast, you get 51 forecasts with slightly different initial conditions. The spread tells you confidence. Tight spread means high confidence. Wide spread means low confidence. Right now, ensemble spread for this weekend is moderate. Not tight, not wide, moderate. That translates to moderate confidence. We think something happens. We not certain what or where. For late next week, ensemble spread is wider. Makes sense. We re-looking 7 to 10 days out, but the ensemble mean, the average, shows a signal. That S worth watching. I want to spend a moment on temperature records. Thursday and Friday mornings, multiple cities could tie or break record lows. Not for January 15th or 16th specifically, but coldest temperatures this winter. Coldest temperatures in several years for some locations. Memphis could see coldest temperature since 2021. Nashville since 2022. Atlanta since 2022. These aren't all-time records, but they re-significant cold for areas that have seen mild winters recently. For elderly populations, this matters. Hypothermia risk increases. Make sure elderly neighbors have adequate heat. Make sure they have food. A wellness check could save a life. Very young children also struggle with temperature regulation. Keep infants appropriately dressed. Don T overdress, but Don T underdress. Multiple thin layers work better than one heavy layer. Homeless populations face extreme danger. If you know of homeless individuals in your area, direct them to shelters. In temperatures this cold, exposure kills. Animals suffer too. Bring pets inside. This isn't weather for dogs to stay outside. Even breeds adapted to cold struggle when temperatures stay in the teens for days. Outdoor cats need shelter. Provide something if you can. Wild animals struggle as well. Bird feeders help. Fresh water helps. Small actions make differences. Now about snow removal. For those in areas that might see accumulation, understand that southern cities don't have the equipment northern cities have. If Atlanta gets 3 inches of snow, it shuts down. That S not because southerners can drive in snow. It S because there aren't enough plows and salt trucks for the area. Don't venture out unnecessarily. If your city is struggling with snow removal, stay home. Wait for roads to clear. It's not worth the risk. For those who do need to travel, understand that bridges freeze first. Overpasses freeze before road surfaces. Shaded areas freeze before sunny areas. These are the danger spots. 4-wheel drive helps you go. It doesn't help you stop. All vehicles stop the same on ice. Speed is the enemy. Slow down. Leave space. Be patient. If you start to slide, don't panic. Ease off the accelerator. Don't brake hard. Steer into the slide. Look where you want to go, not where you were sliding. Your vehicle follows your eyes. Let me address what happens after this cold. Do we warm up? Eventually. Models show brief moderation late next week. Temperatures climb back to seasonal normals. That's not warm. That's just not as cold. But the pattern doesn't break. The trough remains. After that brief moderation, cold returns. Last week of January looks cold again. This isn't a quick shot of cold followed by spring warmth. This is sustained pattern. For snow lovers, that S encouraging. For those tired of winter, that S discouraging. But that S, what the data shows, European weekly data extends through late February, shows below normal temperatures continuing, shows above normal snowfall for much of the east. That is a long-range tool, not a forecast. But it shows pattern continuation. If you've been waiting for winter weather, this is your window. If you were hoping winter would pass quietly, that is not happening. Now I need your help. Tell me where you are watching from. Drop your location in the comments. That helps me understand what areas to focus on in future updates. It helps me know what regions have the most interest. What are you seeing right now? What's your current temperature? Have you had precipitation recently? That ground truth information helps. Models tell us one thing. Reality tells us another. Your observations matter. If you've experienced significant winter weather in the past, share that. What year? What happened? How did you handle it? That experience helps others who might be facing winter weather for the first time. For those with specific questions about your area, ask them. I can too respond to every comment, but I read them. Common questions get addressed in subsequent updates. This is a community. Your participation improves these forecasts. The more we communicate, the better I can tailor information to what you need. Updates continue daily. If something significant changes in overnight models, there will be an update tomorrow morning. If trends continue, there will be an update tomorrow evening. You will stay informed. Watch for ice. Watch for the weekend system. Watch for late next week. 3 separate time frames, 3 separate chances, each one different, each one worth monitoring. Stay safe, stay warm, prepare don't panic, and let me know where you were watching from.